In this podcast, Dr. Jane Vella will begin our journey through the 7 design steps by exploring the who and the why. Let's listen to Dr. Vella explain the importance of the 2 questions and how they set the structure for the rest of the design steps.
The first 2 questions of this planning system work together. We will consider them together in this podcast, the who and the why. In this design system, the first question we work on is not what, the content, what we want to teach, but rather the who. Who are the participants and who are the leaders? Who are the likely participants in this course? Who will be leading it? This question is first because it demands that we fully consider the quality of learning that is possible. We ask how many participants there are. The number of participants affects the whole design. How were they selected for this course? Who selected them? Did they choose themselves? This also changes some of our decisions about design. What is their background in the discipline that they are studying? What do they bring to the course? Think of what happens when the who question is not asked as you prepare for a learning event. When this vital question is not asked, learning tasks and materials can be selected that are inappropriate for the learners who come. The time set does not work for the group. The content is often not immediate or engaging. Objectives seem to serve the teacher, not the learners. Our primary design consideration is the learners, their needs, their hopes, and especially their learning. The who question names also leaders or teachers of a session or a course. These leaders can change without affecting the whole program. Not so the participants. In any design, clarity about the who is our first professional responsibility. Sometimes we cannot know anything specific about the participants. For example, in a public forum or a public course, we are still obliged to discern whatever we can and ask such questions as who might come? What demographics will they represent? Will there be a likelihood of men and women attending? Just by asking these questions, you are working toward excellent learning for those who do attend. My experience is this: the more you know about learners, the more they will learn. The why question, as we said, is a corollary, a partner to the who. The why question involves the situation that calls for this learning event. So the who and why questions go together. Getting an honest answer to the why question, what is the situation that calls for this learning event, controls your response to all the design questions that follow. There are many perspectives on this question: the organization, the selected learners, the teachers. In Learning to Listen, Learning to Teach, which I published in 1994, I quoted my professor Tom Hutchinson of the School of Education at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, who taught a needs assessment course. He asked a wonderful question: who needs what as defined by whom? This question reveals the various perceptions of the situation that calls for an educational event or a training program. Our job as designers is to use this why step, this design step, to get a plausible and honest response about the situation from decision makers and participants. Who among these can name the situation? Decision makers about educational events are rarely participants, or even the teachers. It takes some discretion to discover who those decision makers are and how to win their support for an honest response to the simple question, what is the situation that calls for this course? Why in this system is not the purpose of the teaching, but the situation. The 7 design steps, as we're doing them here in these podcasts, and as you use them, are in an operative sequence. We ask the why question before determining the what that we'll teach, and even the time frame and where we teach it. Individuals interested in designing effective education must know the situation that demands that learning. Inattention to this step in the design can result in inappropriate or irrelevant content and frustration for you as teacher and facilitator and designer, and for the learner.